How do we move better? Well, here is med ball wall, one of the multiple things that we do for med ball wall, right? So there's multiple things we do. Let's just watch this, right? There's Jimmy Gamboa, UNLV. Now you can do this a lot of different ways, right? Find other things. You don't like that drill, find something else you do. But what the deal is being able to turn your body in one way and be able to turn it and go the other way, right? This sort of strength to be able to turn your energy, go from one to the other. There's multiple ways you can do that, not just that way. But once again, we count it, break a record, celebrate it, tie it, 1, go below, pay the price. It's the exact same thing, right? Here's another one we like.
Here we go. It's ready.
That'll work, right? All right. Contributions from the posterior chain. Once again, there are many ways you can do that, right? You guys are sharp. There's lots of ways you can do that. Contributions from posterior chain. We talked about the co-contraction of the back ankle, knee, hip. So Randy and Flint did a really good job of all this. I'm going to give you an example of more throwing specific way to do this. Here's the double crow hop. Play that, show it again. All right, drop intos.
1, go. 1, go.
All right, now, I watched Randy do some things. I watched Eugene do some things. I would highly recommend this to you. It's the way I have done this for the last 20 years. There are some things that have been shown over these last couple days that you immediately go, man, I like that. Implement those immediately into your program. Implement them as soon as you get home. There are things that you go, I don't like that. Perfectly okay. Do not. There's things that I saw from Randy yesterday that immediately I loved. There's some stuff that I wasn't a fan of that I'm going to need better clarification from it, and I'm going to go down and visit with him about it. I'm not going to implement those right away, right? You need to do the same thing with Blake. You're going to have to do that. That is what you should do. You should find the things that really resonate with you and your eye, because this is your program, right? And you build in your program. And I would strongly urge you not to do a drill that doesn't really resonate with you just because it's somebody else's program, right? Don't do that, right? It's got to make sense to you. Believe me, there's enough stuff that makes sense if you study it that you'll be full. You don't have to go. You're not going to be short of stuff, right? Right. Mechanical inefficiencies. This is the problem with what kind of Randy alluded to yesterday. The intent crowd that solves everything with intent. The problem with that is, and I think Randy did this a couple years ago, and it was really, really good. He said, just because the body, you've actually kind of tricked the body. You said to the body, look, we're going to do this with intent. We're going to bring on our radar gun, and you're going to get it done. The body, indeed, the Bernstein principle is true. Your body will organize itself based on the ultimate goal of the activity. But it thinks you're at a carnival with your girl and you're going to want to win a teddy bear. So it's like, dude, we can do this. She'll like this. Let it rip. That doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it every 5th day for 100 times for 6 straight months. So the body has organized itself for the one-off. It's a one-off. Pitching is not a one-off thing. There's my problem with intent. I think you have to have it, but understanding that there's so much more to it. It's not just winning a teddy bear at a carnival. It's being able to throw it near your peak, on a regular basis, every 5 or 6 days, and be the same guy over and over again for 6 months. That's the deal. And that's much harder than topping out a radar. I think, you'll see this, now it's gotten to be really common. People get on social media and they show a kid throwing breaking a radar record, and everybody cheers. And back in the day, I thought that was really neat. Now to me, it's like, everybody does it. It's like, that doesn't mean anything, right? It's not that it doesn't mean anything. It's good that they're able to have their body organize themselves for that, but that does not mean you can pitch. And that does not mean you're going to be healthy. And that does not mean you're going to go up in levels. Coach Wallace likes to say, when he had a pitcher one time, that the hardest thrower maybe he's ever had, ever in all of his coaching career, threw, I think, an inning and a third for him one year, because he couldn't throw it over the white thing, right? And so it's about so much more, and you guys know all that, but mechanical efficiency really does matter, because that's what, and Jonathan Mass is going to be talking about that on recovery. This matters to recovery, right? All right, physical constraints. As we see, this is so, these two pictures, right? People like, geez, Ron, man, where'd you find that on the internet? If we have a camp that we have 40 kids at it, there's 36 kids that look exactly like that, and there may be more than that, right? Of course, though, I want you to step back for a second, right? Of course that's the way. When you're right-handed or left-handed, you're dominant of that side. You didn't throw 50 pitches this way and then 50 pitches that way. So are you going to have an asymmetry just by the nature of the sport? It's one-sided, right? Now here's the problem. That's not a problem that you have slight asymmetry. It's that when it gets skewed too far to one side, and then you start to have limitations or constraints in performance. And so this is where I say this to people all the time. This is the reason that the Florida Baseball Ranch and the Texas Baseball Ranch and other people are so closely aligned, is that there are some times that somebody will need Randy, in all fairness, his physical therapy hat on a lot more than they need me with my movement pattern hat on, right? And then there's other times it's not the case. So you need to find a good physical therapist that you can rely on somewhere, that you can have them help you with this. Because if the person has a flat tire, they're not, and I don't care if it's a Ferrari and they have a Ferrari engine, it's going to be very difficult to have that be peak velocity, peak efficiency, peak performance with a flat tire. You can't do it. It's going to stop you. This is actually way back. I think Phil Donnelly really maybe did as good a job of that as anybody, and having us understand that at the very beginning. So this is important. This is not the be all and end all. It's just very important. The structure, the foundation of our guys is really important. So now we go to what I think, and this is where I'm going to close with this, because this is to me the most important for me. This is the most important for me. They fail to grasp the critical importance of establishing a movement pattern which has no pain when throwing at high intensity. So I talked to a couple coaches already, and you guys have already started doing a real good job of doing kind of check with me's with your pitchers. This is something that this never occurred with me when I was pitching in college. No one ever asked me how my arm was. Not one time in my whole college career did my coach come up and say, now he might have said, "What the hell's wrong with you?" But he didn't say, "How's your arm?" Right? It's like, "How come you can't get anybody out?" And I got nothing. But now you guys are actually asking this. I think especially for you guys that are in the pro game, this is incredibly difficult because they're not going to tell you. They're just not going to tell you. Maybe you'll develop a good enough personal relationship that they'll tell you, but most of the time they won't, and I can't even blame them because the game, there's no loyalty in the game of professional baseball, and they'll get rid of you if they think you got a bad wing or whatever, so, you know. But for the rest of us, establishing a movement pattern with no pain has to be the way to go. And I'm going to say this, how can you do throws nearing full speed with zero pain? This is with everyone. So if Wes decided he was going to make a comeback, you trying to make a comeback, Wes? Oh, here we go. Some of you guys are never giving this up. Wow. All right. So even for him, if he's making a comeback, my comment would be, or an 8-year-old doesn't make any difference. Can you throw, what can you do that you could throw near full speed with no pain? And this is so important because if we do that, now this can become a beachhead, and from here we can develop our path forward. If you can't, I'm going to say this just bluntly, if you can't, it's only a matter of volume until you break. Only a matter of volume. Until the pain not necessarily break, until the pain becomes significant enough that will shut you down. So pain, when we said 10 years ago, start with the pain, it's still start with the pain. As a matter of fact, it's not start with the pain, it is focus on the pain because the pain dictates performance. Now, so how are we going to do that? I'm kind of leading this in, Coach Thompson will kind of take us through this as we kind of have an algorithm for people that actually show up with pain. But here's what I want to do. If I'm just dealing with your pitcher, I'm going to do, and we're doing this, where I want to find very early on with any sort of pitcher, I'm going to find the movement pattern that they have that they just go, oh, that was awesome. That felt like hot knife through warm butter. That was amazing. And then if I can find that, I want to do it again, and I want to build on that. So here's Garrett doing quick picks with the ball in the 1 position. Now you can do any drill. Of course, I just stayed with quick picks because, that's what I did. But you can find any drill. Some of you guys will like another drill, but it's any drill, ball in the 1 position, and go full speed, and I will say, how does that feel?
Go. Nice.
Do you have any? Zero pain. Zero, right? If they say yeah, right? If they said, I felt, and forget pain, if I felt anything other than just pure smoothness, right? If they do, that's going to be part of our tool. That's going to be part of our toolbox, right? Let's go to ball in the 2 position.
Go.
All right? Then we go ball in the 3 position. I don't know what that shaking of the rear end is.
That is fair.
What is that? Just watch this.
Go.
I got nothing, Jim. I got nothing. All right. All right. Now here's the Durthrow sock.
Go. Nice.
All right. And then I think, did I have the club? Yeah, there we go. The club.
Go.
All right. Now, a side note on this. Some of you guys are pretty steeped in this. So we know that, let me give you an example. We know, or you think you know, or we think we knew, that if you had elevated distal humerus, the ball in the 2 position, I would say this. Yeah, most of the time. I have a guy that have elevated distal humerus, likes the ball in the 1. The 1 felt, once again, guess what I defer to? What feels like hot knife through warm butter, right? And then we add the hand speed trainer. So here's our tools that we have that we use right now, right? Any drill, connection ball in the 1, 2, 3. The club, we also use the club and the ball in combination, right? Ball in the 2 and the club, ball in the 1 and the club, ball in the 3 and the club, any sort of combination. We use the sock, the drill throw sock, in any combination. Ball, the only thing you can't use is the drill throw sock and the club and the ball, right? We're not trying to make a circus out of it. So, but the sock and the ball will work, right? That combination. Your goal is to find a throw that what? Has zero pain and high intensity, right? That becomes ground zero. That becomes your foundation, and you can build out from there. And anytime, and I would do this to you, anytime you go out from there, that's good. And then anytime you get a little bit sideways, you bring it right on back to ground zero. This is your beachhead. This is your foundation, right? I don't know why this doesn't hurt. I don't know why. I can give you an idea. I can give you my thoughts. That's exactly what it'll be. It'll be conjecture. I don't know what goes on inside the skin. I don't know. But for whatever reason for your brain right now, that is working, right? Unfortunately, what we do is we skip from there and we start to drift out to these other things, and then pain slowly pulls in, and pretty soon it goes over the edge, and then we're fighting it from there on. I would urge you not to let it get there. The best way to keep arm healthy and durable is to make it a priority one. Priority one, right? Now, in structure and in everything else, make it priority one. So, here are the 3 things that I think we should really, I'm good, Flint, this is it. So, what, in our opinion, keeps most athletes from becoming an elite, healthy, durable, consistent thrower is they get caught up in the herd. So you should have a note somewhere in your notebook that you're talking to your players about the herd, the danger of the herd, the danger of just returning back, because that's where mediocre comes from. We are trying to separate ourselves from the herd always. Always. Exceptional performance is unherd-like, right? Unherd-like. So when, and I really believe this, is that everybody starts to do something like we do it, I always wonder, geez, maybe I should change it a little bit, because that's just, like, I don't want to change just for change's sake, but that's what the definition of mediocre. So take care of that for your players so they're not worried about, this is what happens. They go home from the camp and they go back and they're afraid to do anything else. And so we have to talk to them and say, just do this in your own private home and do some stuff, but stay away from the herd. Number 2, move better. Find ways to move better. And my side note for you to write in the edges here, here's how Brent Strom said many years ago, the worst thing you can do for a pitcher is make him a pitcher. So if you want a guy to move worse, start to eliminate all the other things and have him do more bullpens, because that's where they're going to get corrupted. Have them do a lot of different stuff. And so one of the things that I really liked about Bleecker Eugene's thing is the running jump throw. Love that. We're going to start doing it, right? Running jump throw is good, right? It creates a different organization. You learn to move better, right? So in your margin, as many ways, we get really structured that your throwing program is catch play, right? At 60 feet apart, you know the deal. And then they throw their standard long toss, and then they throw their side bullpen, and you do it over and over and over and over again, and you don't even realize the corruption you're creating. Moving better is not just agilities and everything. Moving better is a complete concept of everything. From our warm-up that's unique, to our strength program that's unique, to our mobility that's unique, just move better. And so when you're looking at something, I want you to say, is that helping us move better, or is that getting us to move less well? right? That's what I want you, everything that you do. Everything from your warm-up to your strength program to your mobility program, everything. That's what you look at, right? That's the question that you ask. And then finally, grasping the establishment of a movement pattern with no pain when throwing at high intensity. Especially in the off-season, guys, try to find a movement pattern. That should be your goal in every off-season for every guy. Try to find, with all the tools and all the movements, try to find movement patterns that they can throw the bejesus out of the baseball with no pain. And then there becomes your standard that you can refer to, that you can build upon, that rock you can build upon. But most of it, we do not have that, right?